G'day, Comic Fam. Comics of the Voice here, and we are going to do some more Transformers. I'm just going to do 5 this time. All right, 10's getting a little much, so we're gonna scale her back a little bit because I'm running out of issues. So let's look at 5 books. Good day, Comic Fam. Today's topic, Transformers. Still got the headmasters on all of these. We got some first appearances, and of course, Key Collector app does not have any of them in there at all. Let's dive right into this thing. So last we left off, the Autobots are having problems with their leadership, right? They got Grimlock. He's not the sparkiest spark plug in the mix. So this one here is issue 41. It's called Totaled. We got our writer Bob Budiansky, and our art is Jose Delbo. Josie. Yeah, the J is silent. Jose. So this is got Galen's Starship in it. It starts off again. Remember, he got smoked in one of the previous issues, and he was the headmaster for Fort Maximus, and now Spike Witwicky is now the new leader. So on their ship, it's called the Steel Haven. The Autobots attempt to build Optimus Prime a new body. Now that they've got his essence in that little disc. Every time they build it, though, it just blows up. So in this one here, now we have a new first appearances of Autobots that are called the Target Masters. So the top officers are Point Blank, Scattershot, Landmine, and Grotesque. So new Target Masters. So Steel Haven catches up with the Ark in this issue, and Grimlock freaks out when he finds out that humans have bonded with Autobots to be like their heads. And he sees Goldbug and freaks out and goes, "I want that traitor back." So Spike decides to, let's do diplomatic. He brings Goldbug over and they have a conversation. Goldbug immediately gets thrown into the brig where he finds Blaster all tied up in some kind of weird chair contraption. And Grimlock doesn't want Human to be the leader of the Autobots, so he challenges Fort Maximus to a duel or a battle. And of course, Blaster, he wants to redeem himself, so he stands in as his proxy, and they're going to set a place. So they go to the moon, and they have a battle ground in a crater of the moon. And of course, they're in there with the entire Autobots. They land both ships, the Ark and the Steel Haven. And then there's a big fight. Grimlock and Blaster kind of wander off in their battle, and the Decepticons decide to attack. So they catch the Autobots completely off guard, decimate the crap out of them. Grimlock and Blaster see that there's a battle going on and say, okay, let's put aside our differences and go back and try to save the Autobots. So they go back, they battle the Decepticons, they beat them off, get rid of them. And then after the aftermath, they've left, the Ark's been damaged, and the leadership is still undecided. So Goldbug and a bunch of the Autobots that are still functioning grab the starship, what was it again, the Steel Haven, and take off to Nebulos, because Nebulos has the technology that can manufacture Optimus a new body. So that's their mission. They're going to go and get Optimus a new body. Oh, look, there's Optimus. This is issue number 42. It's called People Power. And the writer is Bob Budiansky, and Jose Delbo was on this one. So this one's got the first appearance of 2 Decepticons. Actually, it's a bunch, but they're called the Power Masters, right? That's what the new thing is. So The gist of it is, this is Nebulos. Remember, we talked about it earlier. It's a planet where the Autobots showed up trying to be peace-loving, and the Decepticons showed up and they started a war there. And eventually Galen, he took off and got the Decepticons to follow. And in this, back on Nebulos, the leader now, who is his name now? High Q is his name. They came to him, all the rest of the Nebulosans, I guess is what they are, wanted some kind of prevention to keep these robots from ever coming back to their planet. So he put some kind of radiation in the atmosphere that basically poisons their fuel source, so they'll just basically die. So the only way to power these things was through these things called Power Masters, which was a human that was joined with one of these little robot things that would basically become the engine and a power source for the Autobots and Decepticons. And these two Decepticons, where are the names here? Darkwing, who was powered by a human, well, Nebulosan named Throttle, who combined himself and made himself into a little engine. And then there's Dreadwing, who was powered by High Test. Those are the two Power Masters. And on the good side there, Goldbug's crew, we got Getaway, Joyride, Slapdash. And then they become Power Masters of their own right. Hotwire powers Slapdash, Lube powers Joyride, and Rev powers Getaway. And then High Q is going to power Optimus Prime, because Optimus Prime, they build him a new body and they're going to load his disc into him. And they said, well, he's not going to live very long because, he's going to die almost immediately. And all these Autobots were there too, and they didn't care as long as they had their leader back. So High Q kind of saw this compassion and says, you know what, I'm going to save these guys. So him and his crew become the engines and power these Autobots. And they fight off the Decepticons, and then they end up having to leave the planet forever because, that's how they roll. So now they're going to be flying through space trying to find their way back to the rest of the Autobots. So now Optimus Prime lives, but he's got that weird engine in them. I don't know if they'll ever convert him back. I guess after he leaves the planet, he can be converted back to, running on Energon. Number 43. This one here is done by a different writer now. This one's called The Big Broadcast of 2006. Ralph Mancino and Alan Kupperberg is the artist on this. So this one's a first appearance of Junkion, which is a planet of garbage, metal garbage. And it's also the first appearance of the leader Wreck-Gar and his lady, who is not named. So she's sitting on the throne next to him, they're watching TV, and she's not named at all through the entire thing, along with the rest of the Junkions are not named in this one. And then we got Rodimus Prime and Galvatron. So their first appearances as well. And who else have we got here? Cyclonus and Scourge. And then there's a first appearance of the Quintessence in this issue as well, which none of that's in Key Collector. And this is an epic issue with a shit ton of first appearances. So the Quintessence are at Junkion, so this is a completely different story. And they've got some kind of capsule that landed on the planet that they're trying to get, so they send the Sharkticons down. And they're immediately chased off by the Junkions. So they have to come up with some kind of way to distract these Junkions so they can get to the surface of the planet and collect this cylinder, this piece of information they have. So they send some kind of television set down there with a huge transmission from Earth, because they see that Earth's got all these cool channels and TV shows. So they want to mesmerize them, and then they put a subliminal message in there that they have to be basically slaves of the Quintessence. And of course that doesn't ultimately work, because these Junkions are already flawed, messed up to begin with, and they manage to flip the signal and they fire it out into space, which starts all these planets in the universe start fighting with each other, and everybody converges on Junkion. Starts a big huge war. The Autobots show up, the Decepticons show up, all this to get this stupid cylinder. And in the chaos of all that warring going on, the leader Wreck-Gar, he looks up into space and sees all the fighting, and he goes, "It's Star Wars. There's Star Wars." That's kind of a funny little thing to say. And the Quintessence grab that cylinder and pull it up into space, and they're going to get it on their ship, and then somebody blasts it and it goes flying out into deep space. And ultimately someone wrecks this satellite dish thing that had brainwashed everybody into being battling each other, and then all that ends. So great. I know these issues are all over the place, and again, probably just, they're trying to sell toys. I mean, they're good stories, they're kind of cool, but sometimes they get lost on what the hell they're doing, and they never finish stories from before, and then I think they kind of realize that, and they come up with conclusions later, like this one, issue 44. Now, you guys remember way back, there was those 4 kids that were on Earth that were playing, remember? And then they helped the Autobots, they helped Blaster, and then they flew up into space, and then we never found out what the hell happened to them. Nothing was resolved from that. So I guess people might have written in and said, look, what the hell happened to Skylinks, and where the hell are those kids? So we find out in this one. So in this issue, it's called The Cosmic Carnival. Bob Budiansky is back on this writing, and then there was a guest artist named Frank Springer on this one. So first appearance of Mr. Big Top. So there's this Cosmic Carnival that's like a big snaky train thing that flies through space, and it's got a carnival on board of it. And there's a human named Burko in this one. He's a carnival manager, sideshow boss. He used to be an attraction himself until Skylink showed up. So aboard the Steelhaven, Optimus Prime and the Autobots are heading back to Earth, and they receive a transmission about this Cosmic Carnival, and they happen to see Skylink as one of the attractions on it. So they get curious, and they're like, what the hell is an Autobot doing there? So they join up with the train, and they go on board, and they find out that Skylinks had the kids, and he was taking them back to Earth, and they found out about this carnival, and they begged Skylinks to take him to the carnival, so he did. And immediately they had no money to pay for their entrance fee, and they got suckered into using his services as part of an attraction. And he asked the human, what was his name again? Burko, to take care of the kids. And he said, sure, no problem. And he immediately puts them in a sideshow in the cage that he was imprisoned in when he was taken from Earth, and makes the human children a sideshow. So the Autobots, Goldbug and Optimus, find out about all this stuff, and they try to get him to release them. So of course Mr. Big Top says no, and he's this weird lizardy octopus kind of looking dude. So Optimus goes to the human and offers to take him back to Earth, where he was stolen from, and in exchange to help him get the kids and break out. And that was the rest of the issue, was them just breaking out. And then of course the kids are now, we don't know what happens again, because now they've broken out, they've all left, and Skylinks took the kids and said he's going to Earth with the kids. So did it get resolved? Well, yeah, issue 45 got the return of Circuit Breaker. So the beginning of this one's called MonsterCon from Mars. So it's Bob Budiansky and Jose Delbo. First appearance of Skullgrin, but I think he was in an earlier one as a pretender, but I think he's preliminary in this one. I am not 100% sure, but I think maybe he wasn't in the previous one, but he's one of the pretenders. So he's a Decepticon. Inside of this whatever monster thing is the robot. So this issue starts off with resolving the whole thing. Skylinks lands on Earth, releases the kids. The protesters are there. They freak out. They're like throwing shit at him and tell him to get the hell out of here. Circuit Breaker's on watching. And there's a movie producer that sees all this stuff and says, hey, this could be good for business if we could get one of these robots or Transformers. And then he finds out about Skullgrin. I call him Skull Crusher? Skullgrin. He's a Decepticon. He was sent by Soundwave to create a fuel depot, or get a fuel depot going on Earth in some remote part. And the movie producer finds out that there's been some disruption, and he takes a team up there and finds this thing, and then offers him a contract and says, hey, you want to be a movie star? And he's a Decepticon, so he's got a big old ego. So he says, yeah. So this movie producer puts him in a bunch of movies, makes him into a giant star, and he befriends this human lady. What's her name? She's the actress that's with him. Carissa, that's her. And then she gets to know her, he gets to know her. And one time they're shooting on a set somewhere out here in the desert. He shows her his true form as a robot. And of course, Circuit Breaker's been watching all along, and she saw that he's a dirty robot Decepticon, so she attacks. And she pleads with him not to hurt him. And then the issue just kind of ends stupidly with her leaving, because this human woman says, you know, he's a good guy now. And that's it. It's resolved. So that is 5 issues. It's because I haven't read the other 5 yet. And they all still got the Headmaster logo at the top. Now that Optimus is back in the game, though, I think it's going to switch back to the Optimus Prime. So there is 5 issues. So I think I got 2 more to do then. So the next one will be 46 to 50. Yeah, 46 to 50, and then 51 to 55. And that's the end of the ones that I own. So I hope you guys are enjoying this series, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.